The film is set in the small town of Vengerberg, where a young girl named Yennefer lives with a deformed face and an unsightly hunchback in the family of a cattleman. Because of her unattractive appearance, the girl is constantly ridiculed by the townspeople, and one day, when Yennefer is once again mocked by a couple of local young men, she accidentally opens a portal to the magical Tor Lara in Aretuza, where she is met by the young wizard Istrid. The young man is concerned. All magic leaves traces, which wizards can use to find anyone who possesses even a hint of magical ability. He decides to save the budding sorceress and opens a safe portal that brings Yennefer back home. Some time later, a beautiful and wealthy lady arrives at the girl's father's farm to buy a pig, but upon seeing the girl, she also expresses a desire to buy her. And the father, who does not hide his disgust for his daughter, sells her for half the price of the animal, despite the pleas of her mother, who recognizes the lady as a witch. So Yennefer finds herself at the magical school of the enchantress Tissaia de Vries, where several girls are already studying. At first, Yennefer struggles with being separated from home and with how little her father thought of her. She even tried to commit suicide, but when classes begin, she discovers that the young wizard was right. It was her inadvertent magic that caused a surge and caught the attention of the school's headmistress, the sorceress Tissaia. The girls studying at the school have also distinguished themselves by possessing the same unique abilities. Soon, Tissaia holds the first test. The girls must lift a stone and a flower without touching them, using a spell. Everyone more or less manages to complete the task, but Yennefer fails. The girl stubbornly tries again and again until Tissaia stops it. Frustrated, Yennefer runs away. Later, she finds Istrid in the cave and tells him her name. Some time later, Tissaia trains her female students to recognize man's greatest fear. She seats the girls in pairs and orders them to look into each other's eyes until they can see into their rivals' intentions. Yennefer teams up to encourage the girl, but she fails again. Tissaia is furious. Yennefer is useless, and that's because she's lying to herself. Even if she were beautiful, no one would love her. Although she's not the only one with problems, Yennefer shares her troubles with her only friend, Istred, who talks about his own schooling. He too is struggling with everything. The boy offers to let her read his mind, and the girl succeeds. One night, Tissaia wakes the girls in the middle of a storm and takes them to Tor Lara, the most powerful magical place on the continent, whose entrance is only open to members of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers. Today, there will be a test in the art of controlling the flows of chaos, which involves catching lightning in a bottle. The girls do not believe such a thing is possible, and some of them receive strong shocks even after catching the lightning. When it's Yennefer's turn, she reaches up with the bottle, but it is thrown back against the wall. Enraged, she directs her power at her more fortunate rival, but Tissaia blocks her mental attack. Later, Tissaia scolds her apprentice. She almost killed someone today, which means her emotions could destroy her as well. Tissaia cannot be certain that Yennefer will not give in to her emotions and harm the school, since she is meant to become a court sorceress, and the weak have no place near a ruler. The enchantress already doubts that there is anything in her that the chapter of mages needs. Frustrated, Yennefer tells Istred everything, but most importantly, the enchantress knows all about them, and they will not be able to see each other again. The man is willing to show her other, more ancient and powerful magic, but it is extremely dangerous. He shows her the skulls of the dead elves who built Aretuza. They were the first sorcerers on the continent, and they were the ones who built all the magical places. But then humans arrived on the continent and slaughtered them. Istrid gives her a flower that can only grow where elder blood lies, and recites a spell. By repeating it, the girl opens a portal. The astonished mage can't understand how she managed to do it on her first try, and Yennefer confesses that her real father was a half-elf who died during the Purge. It was his blood that made her ugly. The boy kisses Yennefer and confesses his love. Later, she shows Tissaia the flower. It turns out that this was her assignment, to get the plant by applying the skills of false emotion. Yennefer hopes to be elevated. The enchantress promises that she will soon hear a knock and know when it is time. Meanwhile, Istred is also reporting to his mentor, Stregobor, about what he has learned about the girl. One night, Yennefer hears a knock at her neighbor's door, and taking the flower, goes after them. She peeks out as Tissaia turns the four of them into eels. The enchantress knows the girl is here, and orders her to come out and push her former fellow students into the water. They are now the conduits of magic for Aretuza. Yennefer performs this, and then sees many silhouettes of former schoolmates in the water. Time passes. Yennefer enjoys a love affair with Istred, applying what she has learned to enhance the effect of intimacy. Thus, one day she created a whole crowd that watched their intimacy and then rewarded the lovers with applause. The guy is amazed at her imagination. What will she come up with next time? So, the day of the final ride is approaching, after which they will be masters of their own destiny. Yennefer dreams of graduating from Aretuza and returning to her native Aedirn as a powerful sorceress to show her longtime abusers and her father what she's been able to achieve. In addition, all Aretuza graduates are perfected before being sent to the different kingdoms. All physical defects are removed, which awaits Yennefer as well. The wizard in charge shows her his work, the flawless beauty of the graduates, and promises her an equally wonderful result. He suggests making her color a noble but strong gray. Tissaia, on the other hand, teaches her to look in the mirror and see what Yennefer herself wants. She orders the girl to close her eyes and imagine the most powerful woman in the world. Yennefer complies with the order, but does not yet see the promised beauty. Meanwhile, the chapter of wizards gathers in Aretuza to decide where the graduates should go, for all kings need court wizards. Then it transpires that one of the leaders of the council, the wizard Stregobor, knows that Yennefer is a quarter elf, which means that she will not be accepted at Aretuza, where there is a prejudice against elves. The chapter votes to send Yennefer to Nilfgaard, which the aspiring enchanter does not like. She demands an audience with the chapter, but Tissaia declares herself in charge of the distribution. Yennefer is beside herself. She has no intention of wasting her life serving the king of a small southern kingdom and a lover of women. The tutor reminds her of the elven blood, and the girl understands how Stregobor knew about it. The initiation ceremony begins, which Yennefer does not attend. Worried, Istred finds her behind a letter to her father, asking him to confirm that she's his own daughter. The boy does not believe that this letter can convince the chapter, but the girl simply does not know what to do, for even if Istred disproves his words about her origins, no one will believe him anymore. The enchanter is frustrated. He doesn't understand why Stregobor needs this information, and she has already missed all the initiation spells. Istred suggests that she should go with him, since he has been offered the chance to become an explorer. They could travel the continent and uncover the unknowable. But unexpectedly, the girl cruelly mocks his plan. She has no intention of digging through the dust of ages at all, and those are his dreams and intentions. And as always, he doesn't even ask for her opinion. Yennefer is nothing like what he thought she was. He voices his opinion that she's angry because she missed her chance to gain beauty, but what a girl really needs is power. And she didn't go through so many hardships at the magic school for nothing. Yennefer runs to the enchanter, who is responsible for perfection, and demands to be shown his art. Not even the absence of a potion to dull the terrible pain that comes with the transformation process stops her. As the mage begins the process, Yennefer asks to keep her eyes and the scars on her hands as a reminder of her former weakness. And the wizard tells her that every magic comes at a price. Once she's reborn, she will not be able to walk. But the girl agrees to everything, even to the removal of her womb, which is necessary for a complete transformation. The magician chants spells, and the girl screams in excruciating pain, breaking the chains that bound her to the table. Her spine straightens, and her whole body seems to melt and shift from one form to another. At last, writhing in agony, Yennefer loses consciousness. Meanwhile, in the main hall of Aretuza, the initiation ball continues. Suddenly, Tissaia sees a door open, and in it stands an unusually beautiful girl with violet eyes. She realizes that Yennefer has disobeyed her orders and rushes to take her away. But it is too late. The ruler of Aedirn has already noticed her. He invites her to dance, where he expresses his wish to see her as the court mage in his kingdom. Tissaia is forced to withdraw and can only watch the king and the enchantress dance from a distance. Directed based on a series of books by Sapkowski, The Witcher is quite intriguing, captivating, and vivid. The atmosphere of magic, the world of monsters, and the steel swords have been transferred quite well. So the adventures of the female protagonists will become even more thrilling in the upcoming episodes.